Heavenly Father, please do not let me give birth to this child in this car. Guess what? I was clearing space for me to give birth in the car. Oh my goodness, baby, please don't come now, please. And I had to intertwine my legs so tight to keep them short. I don't know how that would have helped in any way, but in my brain, that just seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You already know it's your girl Rose. How you doing? Today we're gonna be talking about my birth story of my second daughter. I'm going to give my best story of my first daughter in another video, but today we're going to be talking about the best story of my second daughter. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I love you so much. You will never have a boring time being here. And if you're a return subscriber, I love you. Thank you so much for the love and support. We had a particular hospital where I was registered for antenatal, and that was a family hospital. I'm going to give a backstory on another video on why I had to actually register at that hospital. That is another story for another day. We're registered in this particular hospital, and that's why I gave birth. I did my antenatals and I gave birth to my first baby there. Of course, naturally, we just assumed we were going to use same for this new pregnancy, and I did all of my appointments there and everything. And somewhere down the line, when I was getting to 37 weeks, I started praying that the baby will come before I hit the 38-week mark. I didn't want to do 40 weeks until I was just begging and say, oh my goodness, baby, please come before 40 weeks. I didn't want to do 40 weeks at all. I didn't want to have to go through the stress of climbing staircase or trying to do or looking for fruits to eat to make the baby not to stay up to 41 and so on. Anyway, on this very fateful day, myself and my husband discussed, this was my antenatal appointment was every Fridays. Myself and my husband discussed and we agreed that if by Friday, when we go for the appointment, the baby had not yet showed sign of coming. By this time, I was 38 weeks and about 3 days or thereabouts. We agreed that if by the time we go for the appointment on that Friday and the baby had not come, then we would ask if I could be induced or something, because I really didn't want to go into the 40-week mark, and so looking as if that pregnancy was going to do that. We agreed on that. My husband bought some dates because we heard dates was good to naturally induce them and all that. I took the dates and that evening I danced. I had dance walks too, so I danced. I had weights too, so I lifted my baby, my first baby, and I danced. I really shook my body, and I was having a party up in here. I didn't know that. This story is just to tell you that you can be a fifth time mom and you still never really know what exact signs to expect. Do you understand? When we're talking about labor and delivery, have a kid, they said. That's my baby outside the door, trying to break in to get in and disturb my video. And if I open for her, she will not allow me to do this video in peace. This is why it's so hard, like recording a video. That night I did all of that and I went to sleep. Okay, fast forward to, I always woke up, I always set, my alarm was always set to 5:30 every morning to prepare my daughter for school. That was a Friday. I said, no, that was a Thursday. That was a Thursday. So my antenatal appointment was supposed to have been the next day. I woke up around, before I went to bed, or I woke up sometime around 3 in the night, if I'm remembering the story correctly, and I had this, I felt like I needed to go to the toilet. It was pressing, which was shocking for me because that's something about me. I don't think I've shared that here before. I have very bad constipations on a normal day. That is something that I even went to see the doctor for when I was younger and all that. And the doctor, I was diagnosed and said, it's just my system. No matter the amount of fruits or whatever I take. If you're going to stay here, make sure that you keep quiet. I don't want noise. Baby, you want to say hello? Come and say hello. Say hello. This is actually the person's birth story we're talking about. This is my Ajekutama mommy. Mama. Say hello. Wave to the camera. Say hello. Yay. Okay, so like I was saying, I had this very bad constipation. So around 3 a.m., I was woken up by this strong urge to poo. My constipation was so bad that throughout my pregnancies, I would literally have to do natural enema because they refused to put me on any sort of medication so that it would not send me into contractions and then early labor. I woke up around 3. I went to toilet. I just noticed that particular night I had gone to toilet. I just had this urgency to poo. Little did I know that stop that baby. Little did I know that my had started contracting. I didn't even know. By 5:30 that morning, I got up as usual to have taken my daughter to school, but to have prepared her for school. But for some reason, I really couldn't do much. I had stew in the house, so I just put the stew on fire. Then I told my girl I just had this new help that was with me. She was really slow and not a very smart person. The only thing she could comprehend was frying plantain. I told her, please. And she was helping me fry the plantain. I just noticed that I could only sit down throughout. And then when it got to around 6 o'clock, something told me to download the contraction timer. I just jokingly told my husband, like, guy, even I said this thing, now this pikin they come so. And it was hard to believe because plus our first pregnancy was very different from I never knew what it was to have contractions. I was induced, so I didn't know what it was like. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but anyway, that was how I downloaded a contraction timer and I started timing. Stop that. I started timing my contractions. Oh boy, lo and behold, it said 511, and as I was timing it, since that my contractions started getting closer and closer, and I was like, oh boy, it didn't still occur to me. Oh, but the funny aspect was that it was not even painful. It would just come and I'll be like, I wanted to really use the toilet very badly. And I'll go to the toilet, but nothing will come out. And to just last for maybe 35 seconds, 40 seconds. But all in all, it was about a minute and then to stop. And then when it hooks me, it would just be like a hooking pain. And my dear, that was what I did. And at some point, I just had to sit down and relax. But my husband just casually said, why don't you follow us so that we'll go, because my hospital was very far from my house, was very far. So he was like, why don't we go to the hospital? What do you have to lose? Let's just go. But if it's nothing, you will come back. Because our matron then used to joke that anybody that can get true contraction and not just come to the hospital when it was not a real contraction, that person was going to get a gift. I was actually gunning for that gift. I didn't want a situation where I'll go to the hospital and it will now be like, it will turn out to be a false alarm or something. I entered the bathroom to take a shower, and by this time I'm telling you, my contractions were a minute apart. I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Anyway, I entered the bathroom. In short, 30 seconds, I'll just wait like that. The thing just hooks me. Then I would stay. Then I just kept doing that. And at some point, I couldn't even. I just looked for anything and I just threw on a cloth, and I was now the one shouting like, guys, let's go. By this time, nobody needed to tell me that it was happening. This was it. And luckily my daughter's food was ready that time. Quickly put her bags together, went downstairs. I was even like, oh my goodness, my husband should come quick and let's go. As we're going now, he said we're going to my hospital. He said the way he sees me, we might not reach the hospital. And I said, no, no, no. I don't want to go to any other hospital. I have and my hospital has my history and all that. I don't see why I should go to another hospital, blah 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 and all that. Anyways, mama, stop that, stop putting that in your mouth. That was how we started going. When we got to a particular place, it's not anybody that told me now. I was at the point of prayer saying, oh my goodness, Heavenly Father, please do not let me give birth to this child in this car. And as I was saying my prayer, guess what? I was clearing space for me to give birth in the car, because that was the stage I had reached. I was literally moving things aside so I could have space to give birth. And I was saying, oh my goodness, baby, please don't come now, please. And I had to intertwine my legs so tight to keep them short. I don't know how that would have helped in any way, but in my brain, that just seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I was saying, no, it must be my hospital, and I don't know any hospital around here that was good enough. Oh boy, when the thing hold me, no be person tell me. I told my husband, oh my goodness, get me to any hospital. I just want to get there in time. Like, oh my goodness. And that was how we started making calls because we didn't even know any hospital around us. That's to show you. Anyway, we started making calls and two people told us of a particular hospital. I'm like, oh, that means the hospital should be okay. And that was how we got to the hospital. As soon as I got to the hospital and came down from the car, I just felt I was rushed into the beginning, and immediately I laid on the bed. There was boop, there was a like a plop sound, and as the nurse, I said, "Is that my baby?" And she said, "No, it's your sack." So my sack literally just protruded out of me. At some point, I started telling the baby, like, "Okay, baby, I'm ready for you. You can come now. You can come. I am so ready for you." I started talking to my baby because at some point, at the point when it was now time to push, I noticed that my contractions were getting very weak, and at a point, I was like, I had pushed the first time with the weak contraction. I had pushed first time, then contraction became weak, so I couldn't push as much. Then I tried the second time, it wasn't going through, and the third time I tried. I just felt the contraction going, and I wanted to relax. Then something in me said, "Do you like this discomfort? Do it once and for all, and forget about it." And that was how I gathered all my strength and my breath and my might, and I was like, this I was shouting, I guess I pushed a little too hard without contraction. So my baby actually came out with some scratches in her, and he came out with bloodshot eyes. Yes, that was the amount of pressure. But I'm so grateful that everything worked out very fine. And the baby is very healthy. You saw her, she's always keeping all of us on our toes in the house. I'm just trying to say this. I don't know who watches this and who needs to hear this, but you see that's giving birth, and you feel that I'm a fifth time mom, or I'm a fourth, because I've heard of stories of mothers who have given birth to even four kids, five kids, and they still don't know the exact way that the next pregnancy will present. You understand? Like me, my first pregnancy, I'm going to talk about that, and it presented in a totally different way from my second pregnancy. And that's it. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and don't forget to leave a huge thumbs up and let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Bye guys, I love you.